The trees are what people look at in a woodland, but actually most of the plant species are down below in the ground layer. Wytham has got the longest record of ground flora in Britain, and possibly across Europe as well. In the early 70s, it was a popular thing to measure the growth of different systems. I'm a lot greyer now than I was as a student, and the hair is a bit shorter. My work provides a sort of long-term picture of how the wood has been changing. Bramble covered about a third of Wytham Woods at that time. I had 3 years cutting squares of bramble and separating them into their leaves and stems and fruits in the summer, weighing them, trying to analyse the chemical composition. And actually at the time it didn't really seem to be terribly useful. I never thought I'd actually want to use the data again. Someone asked me where they could find some dense bramble thickets for their research, and I said, oh well, we'll go back to some of my old research plots. And the bramble was nowhere near as dense or as vicious as I remembered it. So over the spell of about 10 years, the wood had changed from being largely bramble covered in many areas to being largely grassy. And that's quite a significant change. The growth was getting eaten or was just not happening. And then you start to explore what else has changed in that period. Before I started my research, I don't think I thought of plants as being particularly mobile. If you put an apple tree in, it stays in the same spot. In Wytham, everything that's around us at the moment would probably have been down around the Alps 10,000 years ago. And it leaves you with this question, how did it get here? It doesn't move very fast now, but it must have moved in the past. Because of the long timescales on which woodlands and woodland plants operate, you need that long run of data. Written records, photographs, but also through the specimens that people have collected, particularly during the 19th and early 20th centuries. If you've got a specimen, you know that really is that species of plant. Press specimens, which are stored in the herbarium in Oxford, taught us that there are species which were present, perhaps up until the 1950s or so, and haven't been seen since. So with some of these species, we know that the conditions no longer look right for them. There are copies of all the data in the Bodleian Library. I'm actually in the process of photographing the original field record sheets that can then be linked to the nature of the species. So is it seen as a fast or slow colonist? My research therefore put these modern studies into perspective, because you can say, well, this is as it is because of something that happened a few decades ago, or in some cases even a century ago or 2 centuries ago. Wytham is useful for me because I know it so well. I can see which plants are behaving as they should do and which ones don't seem to have read the books. In some of the plots that I've been looking at, you find that plants are moving over shorter time periods, just a matter of a year or two. Unless you've got a record, then it's very difficult to tell. Oh, I call myself the old man of Wytham. I'm not quite the oldest researcher left in the woods these days, but I'm hopeful to get to that point.